This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Welcome back to the LCTV News. With holidays right around the corner, we appreciate you taking the time to watch this episode of the LCTV News. Videos are holiday celebrations from a variety of organizations and locations around Lynn, while headlines focus more on news from the mayor's office and city departments. Keeping on this theme, Lynn's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer joined us on the Lowdown to discuss their Heritage Month celebrations and upcoming plans for the new year. Here's the news for Friday, December 20th, 2024. Are you a literary leader, creative ambassador, or collaborator with artist communities? Then this could be the story for you. The City of Lynn is looking for a Poet Laureate to fill a 2-year position for a $2,500 stipend. Applicants can apply on January 1st, 2025, and this period runs through the 31st. Applicants must be at least 21 years of age, be comfortable presenting in English, and have a portfolio of work via a website or social media prepared for an interview. Ideally, candidates should either live, work, or create in Lynn and live in the city for the duration of the program. A selection committee will be formed to make recommendations to the mayor for the position. The committee will consist of the city's arts and cultural planner, a member of the Lynn City Council, a representative of the Lynn Public Library, a representative of the Lynn Cultural Council, and a representative of the Lynn Public Arts Commission. Lynn was awarded an ARPA grant for the renovation of 7 parks throughout the city. Most recently, they cut the ribbon on Kiley Park, where new up-to-code structures were put in, giving kids a safe place to play. Located in Ward 3, several city officials and residents came out to celebrate the occasion.
Hello everyone, my name is Coco Alensig. I'm the Ward 3 City Councilor, and welcome to Kiley Park.
I've been working with the task force community with Coco closely, and we just we're so happy when we know that we were going to get the funds to help with this park, because this park is actually the park I grew up in. I still live in the neighborhood, and just to be able to have the opportunity to be involved with the community and with the city council and the mayor to change the community for the upcoming kids and having something new and safe and up to date has been amazing.
This park has been in existence for a long time, more than 100 years. And due to the ARPA program, the American Rescue Plan Act, this park is one of the 6 parks, 7 including our newly park on Linway, as one of the recipients of that program. And we immediately created a task force, which is the Kiley Park Task Force, which is composed of residents in the area, and we brainstorm and talk about possibilities of fixing the park, what areas need to be done, and this is the result, some of the results of that creation.
3, 2, 1.
Begun in May of 2024, the Charter Review Committee is recommending changes to modernize Lynn's government and structure. Composed of 9 members and chaired by former Mayor Tom McGee, they have also been collaborating with the Edward Collins Center for Public Management to put forth recommendations. One such recommendation would make it so the city is no longer required to seek state approval when reorganizing its government, leaving plans up to the mayor and city council. They also recommended increasing the mayor's authority over department heads and making it so department heads would no longer serve indefinite terms. Much of their work includes downsizing the charter, cleaning up the language, and making it easier to understand, according to McGee. A public hearing is also scheduled for January 7th, where community members can give feedback on the committee's finalized recommendations. Residents can also fill out an online form with their suggestions by visiting lynnma.gov. This winter, the parking department will be launching a snow permit pilot program to assist in notifying residents about parking bans during snow emergencies. This program will serve two main purposes: letting the city know how many people use school lots during snow bans, while also making it easier for the city to communicate with residents by sending emails to inform them about parking updates so they can move their cars accordingly. During said emergencies, no vehicles are allowed to park on public streets or sidewalks, so they must be moved to designated city parking lots. Those that remain on the street will be subject to ticketing or towing. If the parking ban is lifted before 9 p.m., residents will be given 2 hours to remove cars from lots. However, if it is after 9 p.m., they have until 6 a.m. the following morning. To register for a snow permit, visit lynn.thepermitportal.com. Saturday was jam-packed with holiday events, beginning bright and early with the Skills USA holiday party for Gregg House families. Each child was assigned a student as their elf to help them complete a craft and decorate cookies. But the highlight came when Santa showed up to hand out a present to every child.
This is our annual Skills USA holiday party where we invite our families in our community, like especially the little ones, to come and have a festive day, come meet Santa, get gifts, because most of these kids aren't as privileged as us. So we give them gifts. The whole school, we actually do a toy drive around the school. Most of the volunteers here are members of our chapter. So our chapter is actually recognized as a model of excellence. So doing this has a huge impact on the community. Like some of us here, we could have been the little kids out there receiving the gifts. And it's really a good time to come together. You feel like that connection within the community. So in a term let's say adopted a kid. So they got a kid around different activities. We have arts and crafts, gingerbread making, and then obviously Santa comes in, gives at least one present to each kid. Then they eat pizza, and then they get to have a fun day.
Next up, the Lynn Disability Network took over Lynn Tech for their 4th annual sensory-friendly Christmas party. The holidays can be overwhelming, especially for some, so this event gives families a chance to celebrate in a calmer, quieter environment, complete with free food, performances, and sensory-friendly activities. The Lynn Disability Network held their 4th annual Sensory Christmas Party at Lynn Tech the night of the 14th. The LDN is a nonprofit organization founded in 2021 in Lynn, Mass., focused on creating opportunities to connect and support caregivers, families, and people with disabilities in our community. At this event, families were treated to performances by the Cultural Latina Dance Academy. Free food, and several sensory-friendly activities. This included building small structures or spending time in their sensory area, which features low lighting and reduced noise for any child needing a break from stimulation. Soft music and chatter from the dozen or so people filled the room with holiday cheer. Several families came dressed for the occasion, featuring Santa hats and embroidered sweaters. All in all, a fun night of cheer for all families involved. For LCTV News, I'm Dani Vittori. For the second year, Subaru of New England collaborated with Operation Warmth and Washington Elementary School to hand out brand new coats, socks, and shoes to those in need. On December 18th, volunteers from Subaru's Love Promise were at Washington Elementary, helping 150 kids select items they need to keep warm through an engaging shopping experience. This is a national initiative by Subaru, centered on sharing hope, comfort, and confidence for those experiencing homelessness and other needs. As stated by their COO, Jeffrey Rubel, quote, "At Subaru of New England, the Subaru Love Promise is our pledge to do right by communities in which we live and work. We strive to make noticeable and lasting differences in our community. It feels so right to be here at Washington Elementary with this great community of teachers and children." Also in its fourth year, Councillor Alan Sugg hosted the Lynn Public Schools All-City Band at his home for a holiday performance. Despite the cold weather, a crowd showed up in support of this event that has brought the community together for several years.
Do you have any wishes for Lynn this year?
I do. I want to wish the entire city a very happy holidays. I'm so excited to be here with the neighborhood to celebrate the holiday season. The band was amazing, and this is so much fun.
Any thoughts on tonight's performance?
Oh, no, I think this was a great community event. Bring everybody out. The Lynn Public Schools Band was amazing. I'm here today. I'm Ward 6 City Councilor Fred Hogan. I'm here with State Rep Sean Reed. And Sean, you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, thank you to the wonderful Lynn Public Schools Band. They're the best in the business, and we're really happy to have them. And thank you for Coco for starting a great Lynn tradition. We have so many good holiday traditions. This is just another example of that. So, thank you.
Tonight's performance was absolutely excellent. It's a community event where everyone comes together, especially for the season of giving. One of the things that make Lynn so special is the fact that we have engaged community members that do things like this. I mean, hats off to Councilor Coco for hosting this and organizing it. A lot of work went into it, but I couldn't be happier and more proud to be here.
Yeah, that was actually my third year being here. And thank you, Coco, for putting that together and for the band. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all.
This has been a tradition here in Merrill Avenue in Ward 3. This is their fourth performance, and we intend to do this every year. It's really nice to see the neighbors and everybody, my colleagues in council and State Representative Armini and Reed to be here, and it was just beautiful and fun.
Skin cancer screenings were provided to active and retired members of the Lynn Fire and Police Departments on the 16th. The screenings were conducted at St. Mary's by Dr. Christine Candler, who has been assisting the departments since 2018. Dr. Candler does all of this in her free time, donating thousands of hours. Due to the nature of their professions, firefighters and police officers are at an increased risk of developing melanoma, a common but dangerous type of skin cancer, according to the Skin Cancer Foundation. As stated by Fire Chief Dan Sullivan, quote, "When I took this job, my overarching goal was to keep my people safe, whether that be through proper training, safety devices, operating equipment, and now with health as well. So this just plays into that overarching goal," end quote. Speaking of service, history students from Lynn Classical received citations from both the City Council and Mayor's Office for their work on a GAR project where they traced the ancestry of Civil War veterans all the way to people still living in the city today. In a small ceremony on the 19th, councilors at large, Brian LaPierre, Brian Fields, and Nicole McLean handed out citations to this group of students.
This project is working with the GAR Hall, which is a Grand Avenue Public Hall in Lynn. I've been visiting it for 20 years with my classes. The people who left it were Civil War veterans who donated it to the city in the 1920s. That it be kept in perpetuity is what the deed says. for Lynn. We wanted to help that happen. So by doing this project, with these posters you see on the right, we looked at people in the Civil War through ancestry, found modern relatives that are in the area. We're going to invite them to the grand reopening and hope to hit them up for some funds and keep the GAR going. So that was generally the plan. And these folks did all the work. All right, so that's how it worked out. It was a fun project. And the GAR Hall is a great educational resource for history and just for culture in Lynn. It all began about 4 years ago with a city councilor who told us about how to raise funds for the GAR Hall. We had a meeting in the GAR Hall with an earlier class that just graduated. And that city councilor is sitting right here, Mr. Brian Lafayette.
About where we're going as a city, about your participation, particularly our two young folks, our scholars who went into Boston and represented us at the Conference for Social Studies and did such a great job at that event as well. And then for you folks on the ground here in your ninth grade class to appreciate not only Lynn's history, but the Civil War and trace back your ancestry and where you are heading in your future. This is about the past in one way, but it's also about your future in so many regards.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Winter sports have begun, and Classical boys basketball has begun the year at 3-0. The night of the 17th, they began their contest against Malden down 12-0, but came all the way back for the win, spearheaded by Roki Bree Arias to 16 points and dozen rebounds. They made quick work of Chelsea, sending them packing 73-43. Two Rams put up double-digit nights, and by the end of the first, it was already 32-11 Classical. At 2-1, both of English's wins were dominant. They overpowered Everett 69-52 on the 17th. Junior Hernandez did a bit of everything, with 2 dunks, 17 points, 18 rebounds, and 3 blocks for his first double-double in this young season. Before hosting and taking down Revere to the tune of an 82-48 final on the 19th. Denzel Gulen topped the Bulldogs with 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. In contrast, the Spartan boys were defeated at home 57-50 by Andover. They did grab a late 48-47 lead, but Andover finished with a 7-1 run for the win. They evened out their record at 1-1, scraping out a 65-59 victory over St. John's Prep the night of the 17th. June Vasquez broke out for 23 points in the win. While Lynn Tech also dropped their opener 49-44 on the road versus Charleston the night of the 18th. More than 140 players from a dozen teams came together for the 31st annual Paul Duquesne Girls Basketball Jamboree at Lynn Classical. Each team played 2 8-minute quarters. English dropped a close one, 21-16 to Winthrop to kick things off. The Spartans tied with Bedford at 27 apiece. Host Classical wrapped up the scrimmages with a 26-19 loss to Hamilton Wenham. Both the Rams and Spartans lost by single digits in their respective contests. For Classical, it was a 41-34 final to Malden, while St. Mary's fell just short 60-57 to defending state champions Bishop Feehan. The Rams came back to win on the 19th, 42-37 on the road against Everett, keeping the pressure on the hosts and forcing several turnovers. The Girl Tigers ran over Innovation to the tune of a 68-25 final. 3 Tech players had double-digit nights, led by Angelise Bigham with 18 points, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists, but met their match against Greater Lowell Tech 50-35, despite strong performances by several players. Kit put on an impressive showing for their first win of the year, 37-30 over Pioneer Charter School of Science. Trailing 27-25 through 3, they turned up the intensity in the fourth for the win, led by Jessica De La Cruz with 6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 steals, and 2 assists. This one was a no-doubter for English, as they defeated Salem by 53 points for a 65-12 final. Jalen Novas Rivera provided one of several highlights, draining 19 points. They then lost a one-possession game to Revere on the 19th, 62-59. The Bulldogs forced overtime, but came up just short, dropping to 1-2. In girls hockey, St. Mary's fell to arch-rival Bishop Fenwick 5-1 over the weekend. But they rebounded, taking down Archbishop Williams 3-1 on the 18th. Tied 1-1 late in the second, it was the 6th grader Emma Doucette with the highlight-worthy go-ahead goal. While their boys team sits at 2-0 on the year, most recently hosting and defeating Westford Academy 4-1 on the 18th. Down 1-0 early, senior captain Cam McGool tied it up off a wrister. From there, the Spartans poured in 3 more goals in the second. The Celtics fell to the Chicago Bulls 117-108 for just their 6th loss of the season. Boston was matching Chicago almost shot for shot through 3, but a 35-22 fourth proved to be the difference. Despite the loss, 5 Celtics came away with double-digit nights, including a double-double, 31 points, and 10 rebounds by Jason Tatum. Following 2 bad losses, the Bruins rebounded, taking down the Vancouver Canucks 5-1 on the 14th. The Bees scored 2 apiece in the first and second, 3 of which came off assists by David Pasternak, before Charlie McAvoy put the final cherry on top with a wraparound shot 26 seconds into the third. Lynn is bursting with cultures from all around the world, and the DEI officer for Lynn explained how the city is working to connect and welcome them all on this week's Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we welcome back Faustina Cuevas, the DEI officer for the City of Lynn. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me. Great. Always a pleasure.
So the theme for this is kind of general inclusion, trying to really open up City Hall, make it more accessible to others or anyone in the community. So how have you been doing that?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. It's an important one. I think when I've come here a few times in the past, I've talked about my experience growing up in this community and being my mom's interpreter in the building and sort of those experiences that did not make me feel necessarily included. I definitely feel that we've made such great strides in trying to make City Hall more inclusive, more welcoming to anyone in the community, and we continue to do that in many different ways through, heritage celebrations. We've had we usually have holiday celebrations. We had a Halloween celebration. We had our 3rd annual one, which we can get into a little bit, but it's all in an effort to let folks know that this is their City Hall too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even live in Lynn, and I've been there countless times already to cover all the events you do, so good job on that one. You're definitely doing well.
Thank you.
And we just came out of Hispanic Heritage Month, so I know you wanted to speak a little bit about some of the events you did.
Yeah, so for Hispanic Heritage Month, we did a flag raising, and we also did a parade of Latin American flags in the Common, which is something we've done in the past. This year, we actually had the opportunity to recognize local leaders who represent the Latin diaspora and who are doing great things, and they were actually nominated by the public. So they were nominated by peers, by friends, by colleagues, by family members, and that was really cool to be able to have folks that were across the spectrum, which I thought was really exciting. We had youth all the way to some elders that were recognized, and I thought that diaspora of age was really cool to see because we've had younger people that have been really energized to do things in our community. I'm very inspired by young people, so having that was really cool. And then having some folks that which I was really, my heart was warmed because these are the people whose shoulder I stand on, right? That they've been around for 20, 30 years in this community, fighting the good fight, and being able to give them their flowers while they're still here was really cool.
And you even mentioned someone come over from, I think you said Swampscott. who's really energized and ended up helping with the Lynn one.
Absolutely. So we had a Swampscott resident. She was really excited. She's been trying to do her own Heritage Month in Swampscott. She wanted to learn from us, so she actually volunteered for the event, was like helping me hand out flags, and was really excited and told me like anything I need that she'll be back next year. And so having people even from other communities recognize what we're doing in that way was really awesome.
And even coming into this month, you're doing your first ever Native American event actually tonight.
Yes, yes, tonight at 5 o'clock. I don't know if this will air in time, but you know, hopefully next year this won't be the last. So this is the first time the City of Lynn partners with the Massachusetts, no S, tribe, which is a state tribe here that represents a lot of tribal nations that sort of merge into one. Okay. And that is because indigenous communities in Lynn have been really erased. So this tribe has really tried to preserve the history, the stories, the cultural practices of indigenous people of Massachusetts, and it's the first time we're going to partner with them. We're going to raise their flag. We have Thomas Green, who is a tribal leader from that group that is going to come and say a few words. We're also going to have a performance, a Native American performance. So it's going to be a really exciting evening in City Hall.
You're really recognizing the incredibly diverse community that the city represents.
Absolutely. It's an important thing given who we are and who our identities are as a multicultural city.
And do you feel that your role as a DEI officer, how do you think it's been going? You're reaching out to the public now, asking about an equity audit. What has been the feedback so far?
Absolutely. Ooh, this is a great question. So I did want to mention that we, about 2 years ago, because this grant comes up every 2 years. So it's called the Community Compact Grant. It's through the state. You're able to apply for different things for this grant. 2 years ago, they had an area that you can apply for, which was an equity audit. It's the first time that the city is doing an equity audit, and right now we're doing listening sessions with the public to learn a little bit more about what's going well in City Hall, what can we improve on, and we still don't necessarily know what's coming out of that because those sessions are held by a consultant just to maintain sort of anonymity. So we'll find out soon what the results of that. But Dani, it's really about we're doing all these events, right?
Right, yeah.
And we are getting a lot of folks coming to them, and that's really exciting. For Halloween, we had over 500 kids in City Hall and their families.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we partnered with the library. We had an ice cream truck giving away free ice cream. We had pizza. We had like activities for kids in the library. And that's all well and good, right?
Yeah.
But we really want to know that what we're doing is actually landing with folks, right? So having this equity audit, which is a more formal way of engaging our constituents, is going to be really important to make sure that there's synergy in how we're feeling we're being perceived in the work that we're doing in City Hall.
Not just you come to an event, it's great, awesome, okay, now I'm going to go along with my life.
Right, exactly. So this is digging a little bit deeper about how our services can be improved.
And you also have another upcoming event that's going to be a holiday event in early December.
Absolutely, yeah. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, Tuesday, December 3rd, the city holiday, and you can look that up on any of our social media, on the Lynn website as well. And that'll be Tuesday evening at City Hall. We'll do the Christmas tree lighting, but there'll be all types of programs and events. There'll be a show. It's leaving me now, the name of the group, but it's a kids show that'll be in the auditorium as well. So there'll be something for everyone in the family.
Like you said, again, following that theme of getting everybody involved and active in it and trying to really land with them.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that if people have experiences that are not so positive in City Hall, that's part of the job that I'm here to do, is really to help folks feel that they're able to have a place where they can share that feedback in a way that it's going to be heard and validated. And it's something that I take a lot of pride in, which is why I get so energized about doing these sort of Heritage Month, History Month, and community events, right? Like Halloween and the holiday event. Because those are ways that we're able to hear from the public and engage with them in a way that is not just transactional, right? You're not just coming to pay a ticket. We're engaging in activities where we're sharing space together.
And what do you hope people do take away from these activities beyond the fun pieces of it?
Yeah. I hope that they're able to connect with folks in City Hall in a way that feels authentic, that feels more intimate, right? That you're getting to know the people that are servicing your city. As public servants, I think sometimes the public doesn't get to see sort of that human side to the work that we do. Everyone is in this because they generally care about the community. They want to see our city progress. So I hope that we are able to have those dialogues. And I know I personally, so there's actually 2 sisters that come every year to the Halloween event, and now we've become like really good friends, right? Because I see them every year, and I didn't see them right away on the night that we had the Halloween event. I was like, where are my girls? I don't see them. I walk over to the library and they were there, and I was like, oh, they're like, you know, we all like yelled and we're so excited to see each other. And I said, I almost thought you all wouldn't come. And they're like, we wouldn't miss this for the world. And that was like just really amazing to hear.
Like you said, it's the human connection, not just the transactional. It's the, you know, you get to know each other on a more, you know, personal level.
Absolutely.
And I guess, and you know, you're the first in your position, this DEI job. So, you know, you've been in it for a couple of years. How do you think it's been going, or what's your experience been?
Yeah, so almost 3.5 years.
Wow.
Well, no, I have 3.5 years, almost 4 years.
Wow.
And 2 mayors, which I've been really blessed. Under Mayor McGee and Mayor Nicholson, they both really believe in the work and have given me a lot of autonomy to, you know, go on and do the good work around inclusion, which is so essential when you work for city government, that everyone feels not only like they're a part of it, that they feel included, that their voices matter. And I have been really lucky to work under mayors who genuinely believe it, practice it, live it, and are deeply invested. Working under Mayor Nicholson, who I've worked with longer than I did with Mayor McGee, I've been able to firsthand to see his deep passion for this work and for the community, and to make sure that everyone that comes into our building feels welcomed, and that we do also a better job of connecting with people that don't come into the building, right? To close those gaps. So it's really great. It's been wonderful.
I said, and it's so clear you're passionate about it too, even just sitting here speaking about it, all the events you run, everything you do. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment, but was there anything else I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to make sure you shared?
Well, I do want to say that it's a team effort. We do have a Heritage History Month planning team, and I just want to shout out to that team if you're watching. I can't do anything alone. This is really an effort, and I think the reason it's an effort is because diversity, equity, and inclusion is not just one person's job, right? It's my title, and I hold that title because I'm the keeper of the work. But it really is a team effort, and it really takes all of us to make Lynn a better place for all of us to live, work, and play.
There you go. I have absolutely nothing to add to that because you did it so eloquently, but thank you again for coming on to share all this good work you've been doing.
Thank you for having me, Dani.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. This year, the first night of Hanukkah falls on the same day as Christmas Eve. But how common is this occurrence? Since 1900, how many times do you think the first night of Hanukkah has coincided with Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? Counting this year, the answer is 9, so an average of every 14 years. Not as rare as most people think. For Lynners aged 13 to 18, there is a free weekly teen drop-in center on Saturdays from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Lynn Tech Fieldhouse. The next one is tomorrow night, December 21st, featuring sports, music, and free pizza. Come hang out with your friends or hear guest speakers at this event, sponsored by the Lynn DPW, Police Department, a Shannon Grant, and Community Development. Join in one of Lynn's largest traditions, the annual Christmas Eve Parade, weaving through the entire city. Beginning at Austin Square at Summer Street at 5 p.m., it will follow the traditional route, stopping for 10-minute breaks on State Street at 6:20 p.m. and Cedar Brook Road at 9 p.m. The parade will conclude at Lyngate Plaza between 9:45 and 10 p.m. Residents should check the parade's official Facebook page for information and location updates the night of the parade. Do not contact the police or fire department to ask where the parade is. Only contact them if in need of emergency assistance. Visit lyntv.org/events for an interactive map of the parade route made by our Director of Operations, Riley. The Mass General Brigham Community Caravan visits the Greater Lynn Senior Services every Friday from 9 a.m. to noon. They will be parked outside 8 Silsby Street on Friday, December 27th, providing free blood pressure screenings, COVID-19 and flu vaccines, as well as at-home COVID testing kits. No appointment is needed, and walk-up service is available for everyone. No insurance or residential information is required, and there are no questions about immigration status. With that, we have reached the end of another newscast. Keep up with all holiday events, breaking news, and press releases by following us at Lynn Community TV. To watch our staff and member content, learn more about becoming a member yourself, and view our complete community calendar, head to lyntv.org. For event coverage, PSAs, and feature videos, visit and subscribe to Lynn Community Television on YouTube. We are off next week for the holidays, but we'll return in 2025 with all the latest news and headlines. From all of us here at LCTV, we wish you and your family a happy holidays and a happy new year. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next year.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.